Hey, BookTube Sean here, coming to you with my weekend books. No vlog style this week. I just didn't really film anything this week. Yeah, just didn't feel like it. I also have trouble with that. I've heard, I've had a few comments of people that like the vlog style, but I also not used to the idea of filming during the week just randomly what I'm doing. So I don't know, it just feels weird to me. But anyway, so kind of back to the old style this week, and it may stay this way, it may not, we'll see. Anyway, I have finished 2 books this week, actually this weekend. The first book I finished was Beneath by Christy DeMeester. This is a horror novel that I received from Word Horde for a review. So I'm not going to talk a ton about it here because I'm going to film a separate review video for this book, but I did really enjoy this book. I'll read the back for you real quick here since I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about it. The synopsis is: when reporter Cora Mayburn is assigned to cover a story about a snake-handling cult in rural why is that such a weird word? Rural Appalachia, she is dismayed. For the world of cruel fundamentalist stricture, repression, glossolalia, and abuse is something she has long since put behind her in favor of a more tolerant urban existence. But she accepts the assignment, dredging up long-buried moments as she seeks the truth. As Cora begins to uncover the secrets concealed by a veneer of faith and tradition, something ancient and long concealed begins to awaken. What secrets do the townsfolk know? What might the handsome young pastor be hiding? What will happen when occulted horrors rise to the surface, when pallid and forgotten things rise to reclaim the earth? Will Cora and the earth survive? The answers and pure terror can only be found in one place: beneath. Yeah, and I did really enjoy this book. I've heard a couple of mixed reviews on it. I know Rachel at TheShadesOfOrange really loved this book. It was one of her favorites of last year. And then somebody else I heard didn't really care for it at all. And I am kind of more on Rachel's side. I didn't love it, but I did really enjoy it. So that's that. That's the first book I finished. And the second book I finished this week was Cold Cuts by, and I always forget this name, I apologize, Robert, oh man, I should have prepared better, I'm sorry. Robert Payne Cabine, Cold Cuts by Robert Payne Cabine. And again, I might film a review video of that. I haven't decided yet because I haven't felt very good at review videos in the past, but I really want to fix that. But anyway, Cold Cuts by Robert Payne Cabine, and I loved that book. It was the winner of the Bram Stoker Debut Novel Award this year. So it beat Kill Creek for that award, and 3 other novels that I'm also going to read. I didn't like it more than Kill Creek. But it's a completely different kind of horror novel too. And usually I prefer haunted house stories over what this was. But this was just a really fun book, and I just have 3 words to kind of sum up the book, and that's radioactive mutant penguins. That's as much. It felt like that's as much as I need to say. It was just a super fun book. It takes place in Antarctica. 2 scientists at a research station, and their research station gets blown up. And there are radioactive mutant penguins outside. And it's brutal at times and just completely fun. Anyway, so that's the 2 books I have finished this week. What I've been working on, other than that, I started earlier in the week, and I was telling Julie at A Girl in a Book in a message that I sometimes, depending on the type of horror that I'm reading, I don't sometimes like to read it like last thing before I go to sleep, not because I get too scared or anything, Actually, it takes a lot for a horror novel to really scare me. But just because sometimes if it's the last thing I read before I go to sleep, I end up having fucked up dreams. So, and I don't always like to have fucked up dreams. So I sometimes will prefer to read literary fiction or fantasy or something before I go to sleep. So earlier this week, I started The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. That is a Women's Prize winner, so it is on my literary fiction award winners project. It's actually probably the first book I have started to tackle since I have talked about that project that's on that project. So finally starting to work on that a little bit, and so far I'm enjoying it. Madeline Miller's writing is fantastic, and it's very easy to read. And the couple nights I was reading it, I had trouble stopping reading it so that I could actually go to sleep. And other than that, having finished a couple of horror books, now I'm kind of looking at what's next. I've been in a big horror mood, guys. Like I know my channel name is Eclectic Reads, but you're gonna have a lot of horror coming up. I know it's been like most of this year I've just been in a big horror mood. I blame Stephanie and Rachel a little bit and their podcast Books in the Freezer, which I will link below if you have not listened to Books in the Freezer. I don't know what you're doing with an hour of your time every 2 weeks, because they do a fantastic job with it. So yeah, I've just been, I haven't been able to get out of this horror mood. So a lot of what I'm looking at reading is horror. I actually just renewed this from the library today, The Ritual by Adam Neville. I'm still only on chapter 7 of this because I needed to finish Beneath, and I got sucked into Cold Cuts. So I want to get to this. I've been really being pulled lately to The Ruins by Scott Smith, so I kind of want to pick this up. And I want to get more. I want to get into another one of the Stoker debut novel nominees from this year. I actually started reading The Boulevard Monster, and that is by, come on Kindle, open. That is by Jeremy Hepler. So I'm maybe 4 or 5 chapters into that, and so far that's pretty good. So far that is not, at least to me, to the level of Cold Cuts and Kill Creek, but I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah, just a lot of horror on my mind and a lot of horror books I want to read. And I only got a couple of physical books to show you that I've received in the past week. So I'm actually going to share a few of the Kindle purchases I've made over the past week, which my Kindle purchases always outnumber my physical book purchases. Because one, they're cheaper, and I tend to go with whatever the cheaper edition is. And two, I find that I favor my Kindle when I read. I have a lot of physical books. Like I have, you can't see it, but well, you can a little bit right there. That's the top of my filing cabinet that's got books stacked up on it. I know you guys are used to seeing stacks of books right here, but I cleaned that up a little bit. But behind the filing cabinet, I've got almost halfway up the wall, like maybe to a couple inches below that white line, just like stacks of books. A lot of the ones are the free ones I got at the con earlier this year. I have a stack of my book of the month, and when I was doing, what was the name of that club? I forget the name of it now, but I had another book box I was doing before I started doing book of the month. But I have a stack of books that I've gotten from book clubs. And yeah, when I sit down to read, I favor this. It's easier to hold. I can change the font sizes. If the font's bothering my eyes, I can change the font size. Makes it easier to read when I have a headache. As long as the headache's not too bad, I can just up the font size and it doesn't strain my eyes as much. But so yeah, I just tend to favor my Kindle. Anyway, So my Kindle purchases are always greater than my physical book purchases. So I'm going to share some of the Kindle books with that I've gotten in the past week and a half, something like that, and like just whatever my first page of my digital orders is, I'm going to share with you. So that's what I am reading. Oh, I'm still working on 12 Kings and Sherikai too. I haven't touched that in a week because I got sucked, because again, I've been in a horror mood and I got sucked into Cold Cuts. So still got 12 Kings and Sherikai working. But I do have 2 physical books. My book of the month books came yesterday. So my book of the month pick was Circe by Madeline Miller, who you've already heard me talk about because I started the Song of Achilles. And this is her novel, another novel kind of set the Homer's of the Odyssey. I think she's a character in Homer's the Odyssey. So this is focusing a story around her. It's getting a lot of good advanced praise too. So I'm excited to get. I want to finish reading Song of Achilles first, but I'm excited to get into this. And I got a nonfiction, The Girl Who Smiled Beads by Clementine Wamaria. Says a story of war and what comes after. And this is a story about a woman who moves to the U.S. as a girl after the Rwandan massacre. And it's about her starting her new life and how the events of the Rwandan how the Rwandan massacre how she came to America and started a new life, but how that kind of still affects her. Sounded really interesting. So if I ever get into a nonfiction mood, that is definitely going to be one I am interested to read, because I really don't know a lot about the Rwandan massacre, and it'll be interesting to hear a firsthand account of how that affected somebody. But so the Kindle purchases I have made, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be looking at my computer screen a little bit here, over the past, I don't know, week and a half, whatever's on my first page here. Just today, I bought a novella by Jonathan Janz called Witching Hour Theater. I really don't know much about it, but it was a $1 way to check out Jonathan Janz. He wrote a book called Exorcist Falls that I've been interested in reading, and his current one is called Children of the Dark, another one I'm interested in reading. So this is a novella is a nice way to check him out as an author. I picked up Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I don't think I need to talk about that very much. It's been all over the place, especially with the BookTube SFF Awards going on. And the second novel of that, Gray Sister, just came out. So, but that's one I've been interested in for a while, and I finally went ahead and grabbed it. I got a book called The Gin Closet by Leslie Jamison. It was $1.99 on Kindle. I think it was a Book Riot deal of the day. It's still $1.99 on Kindle. This has got a short synopsis, also I'll just read it really quick. As a young woman, Tilly flees home for the hollow underworld of Nevada, looking for pure souls and finding nothing but bad habits. One day, after Tilly has spent nearly 30 years without a family, drinking herself to the brink of death, her niece Stella, who has been leading her own life of empty promise in New York City, arrives on the doorstep of Tilly's desert trailer. The Gin Closet unravels the strange and powerful intimacy that forms between them. With an uncanny ear for dialogue and a witty, unflinching candor about sex, love, and power, Leslie Jamison reminds us that no matter how unexpected its turns, the life we're given is all we have. The cruelties that unhinge us, the beauties that clarify us, the addictions that deform us, those fleeting possibilities of grace that fade as quickly as they come. The Gin Closet marks the debut of a stunning new talent in fiction. It was released in 2010, so I imagine she's written other things since then. I don't know what they are. But it sounded interesting, and for $1.99, I'm a sucker for. I mean, whether I ever get to it or not, I'm a sucker for books that sound interesting to me and are only $1 or $2. I pre-ordered Unbury Carol. That'll get delivered to my Kindle on Tuesday. That's Josh Malerman's new novel. If you don't know who Josh Malerman is, he wrote Bird Box and Mad Black Echo, I believe is the name of the title and the name of the book. I can't talk, so I also ordered another Josh Malerman, a Kindle single called Gassel and Yule. So I'm kind of excited to read that. I also, on the same day, got a book called Becoming Bonnie by Jenny L. Wash, which is a historical fiction novel about Bonnie of Bonnie and Clyde. I got The Lamb Will Slaughter the Lion. It says it's a Kindle single. It's by Margaret Killjoy. I want to open this up in a new tab because I thought it was a novel. Oh, it's 130 pages, so yeah, it's novella length. She's got a follow-up book called The Barrow Will Send What It May. I saw a Twitter post advertising the books, really, really short. I'll read it. Searching for clues about her best friend's mysterious suicide, Danielle ventures to the squatter utopian town of Freedom, Iowa, and witnesses a protector spirit in the form of a blood-red, 3-antlered deer begin to turn on its summoners. She and her new friends have to act fast if they're going to save the town or get out alive. It's got 4.5 stars on Goodreads, or not Goodreads, on Amazon. So it's $3.99. I don't imagine that'll be its price because it's a Kindle single. It sounded cool. I also got In the Valley of the Sun by Andy Davison. That was on sale for a few days for $1.99. That is also a book. That was the last book I needed to have all of the books nominated for the Stoker debut novel this year. So I have all of them on my Kindle now. I also got The Nightmare Room, the Messy Man series, book 1 by Chris Sorensen. I picked that up because I saw somebody on Twitter mention it in a list of early Stoker predictions for next year. And it was in a list with like Robert McCammon's new book and Jonathan Marbury's new book. So he included it among good company. So it wasn't very much on Kindle. So I went ahead and I think it was like $2, $2 or $3 on Kindle. So I went ahead and grabbed it. I also got the entire Craft sequence by Max Gladstone. It's an urban fantasy series. The books are... Oh, why are you making me enter a password? Okay, the books are 3 Parts Dead, 2 Serpents Rise. The rest of these might not be in order. Full Fathom 5, Last First Snow, 4 Roads Cross, and The Ruin of Angels, which I know is the most recent novel. They were all on sale for $2.99 a piece. And I had a little extra money, so I went ahead and grabbed all of them. I have 3 Parts Dead physical book that I got signed by him last year. But I've never checked it out. But I wasn't going to pass. It sounds like something I'll like, so I wasn't going to miss getting all of them for basically $18 for all 6 books. Before the price went up and I had to pay more for them, so I went ahead and grabbed them. And The last one I'm going to talk about is I almost got this one as a book as a book of the month extra, or my pick for book of the month, like my first or second month with book of the month. But it's Goodbye Vitamin, a novel by Rachel Kong, and that is told in diary format. I forget what that's called off the top of my head, but and it's about a woman dealing with her father's Alzheimer's, but she takes a humorous approach to it. I remember reading the excerpt and laughing out loud at it. So she takes a heavy topic and deals with it with some humor. So I was really interested in to read it, and it was a Kindle Daily deal on March 29th. It was a Kindle Daily deal. So I went ahead and grabbed it. So that's it, and I will try and put images of the Kindle books up in the corners. But that's it. That's my weekend books this week. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought, what sounds interesting to you. Are you in a big horror mood and can't get out of it? Not that I want to get out of it, but I feel bad sometimes when I'm just stuck in a genre and I call myself Eclectic Reads. I feel like I should be bringing you more content than just what I'm in the mood for. And I feel like I do a little bit with my book hauls and stuff, but sometimes I feel like I should be reading more than what, like I'm reading a bunch of horror books right now. But that's just what I'm in the mood for. So the literary fiction, the fantasy, the sci-fi, it'll all come. Because I still like them. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you're reading and what sounds good to you. Other than that, thank you to all my subscribers. Anybody new to my channel, welcome. I am happy to have you. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Goodreads, and I will see you all in my next video.